Well, guys, I have kind of a memory stone, which is pretty much worth documenting. But that all starts with the question. Do you know who Lloyd Lindroth, the harpist, was? Do you know who Lloyd Lindroth was? Who was like, a very knacked harpist? Well, the question a lot of you folks would give me is you've probably never heard of him. And of course, to be honest with you, I probably would have never, heard of Lloyd Lindroth either if the circumstances would have been different. But just quite the coincidence happened, and the summer of 1999 that would trigger my memory, what I can remember of Lloyd Lindroth very well. Summer of 1989. Well, I'm gonna specify exactly how I know who Lloyd Lindroth is. In the summer of 1989, of course, me and Dad spent the weekend there at Opryland Amusement Park, which no longer exists. And in between times, we even visited the Opryland Hotel, which was very magnificent, and couldn't ask for a better splendor place than the Opryland Hotel. Their glorified waterworks, huge fountains, huge cascades, shopping centers within, everything from under the hot sun, including a bar platform, a platform with a bar that spins around slowly. And me and my dad were, there at that bar, and of course he had him a drink, and of course, I had me a drink, I guess a Coke or something like that, and of course, we only stayed for a certain amount of time because, Dad thought I was wanting a steak to eat, and they didn't have steaks available there, And our waitress's name was Kathy, K-A-T-H-Y, because that's what her name badge said. And Dad ended up saying, "Hey Kathy, do you know where they serve good steaks, because this boy is needing a steak?" I remember that very well too. And plus, off in the distance, probably above around the hotel corridor, there was a man playing a harp, and it was very dignified music as well. It just definitely caught my ears. Not really the particular kind of music I was listening to that time, but definitely caught my ears. And he was there playing the harp for a while, and of course, I believe he ended the show right before me and Dad left, and he came around and handed out all his information cards with his big portrait, there on the front. And the name in big letters, Lloyd Lindroth. Of course, I kept that, brochure in my scrapbook until I threw that but I threw that scrapbook out like eons ago. But you know, I mean, I remember exactly, I mean, his name exactly the way it is, and I also remember vividly his face, his hair, and all that good stuff. I probably never would have known who Lloyd Lindroth is, but just so happens he performed right there at the Opryland Hotel that one night. Me and Dad were there. And he handed out, you know what, everybody there his cards. And he handed me a card and said, "One for you," handed Dad a card and said, "One to you." And I kept that card until I, like, you know, threw that scrapbook away. And one day out of the blue, I decided to Google Lloyd Lindroth. And sure enough, I mean, it surfed right up. Yep, here's his name. Here's an article. Here's a picture of him playing the big harp, just like I remember. I'm not gonna, well, you can like Google his information and article, his performances, appearances, and all that stuff, but he was born June the 6th, 1931, and he died on June the 9th, 1994. So this man has been deceased for 30 years now, and he was even nicknamed the Labyrinth of the Harp. A Seattle native, and began playing at the age of 14. Moved to Nashville in 1983. Of course, if I haven't said it already, he died due to a bout of pneumonia. There's even videos on YouTube of, you know, old Lloyd Lindroth performances with Lloyd actually, you know, playing the harp. And so anyway, that's, you know, exactly how I remember Lloyd Lindroth. Is he played there at the Opryland Hotel exactly 34 years ago. I remember that pretty well. And I also remember his face and his name so vividly from that card he handed us. But anyway, just, you know, another memory milestone to, like, you know, share with the world. There you go.